Hello, and welcome to my first YouTube video, or my first art video, at least. Happy to have you here. Today, I'll be designing characters for Strawberry Step 1 Zoc Universe. First, let me introduce to you my tragic apocalypse lesbians, Evelyn and Lex.
Our friendship goes beyond your average kind of bond. Because we're gay. No, not because we're gay.
This is my first Zoc Evelyn. They are based on the cauliflower origin, but I tend to just use cauliflower because it's easier to spell. Before the apocalypse, she worked as a tattoo artist, but they had dancing as a side hobby. For Halloween, they dressed as a ballerina and managed to beat up a few zombies with a beach umbrella before she accidentally ripped some flowers off the top of one's head. It became a magical girl, but things did not get any easier for her from there. Their power is healing, and her weapon, a parasol, is the best for one-on-12 combat. She was a support all alone, with no offensive powers and a target on her head. Basically, she was fucked. When designing her, I went to cauliflower looks like ballerina tutu and worked from there. I gave that a bit of a practicalish outfit, mostly because I knew animating anything with more than 3 bones would be a pain in the ass, but also because practicality is canonically a thing the magical girl sounds that grants the girls their powers are worried about. Nevertheless, cauliflower magical girl had to deal with 13 layers of frills and decided to grant Evelyn something more practical. For her weapon, I knew I want to go small feminine with you, just weapon, so my first instinct was hammer, but then I realized I had a whole world of objects to choose from, and that a parasol fit the cauliflower vibe a little better. On to Alex. Is what makes this regular lesbian apocalyptic duo into a tragic lesbian apocalyptic duo because, yes, she's actually infected, at least partially. Remember how Evelyn has healing powers. As long as Evelyn is constantly holding on to Alex, the infection won't advance and the two get more time to look for a cure. As for Alex herself, she was still in college during the start of the apocalypse and actually attended the original party dressed as a zombie. She was a designated driver, so she was clear-headed enough to realize that the weird flowers had something to do with the zombies and snatch one for herself. She is based on the coarse flower, specifically the big one that only blooms once a year. Her power works similarly. The spirit that gave her powers is very weak, but it is able to muster up an incredible amount of power about once a year, coincidentally on Alex's birthday. On that special day, Alex gains super strength, which is too remarkable, but her can also grows to match it. Once a year she can run around with her school-sized magic laser and blast out hordes of zombies, but every other day she's stuck with her wits and a regularish sniper rifle that fires itself. Because of this weakness, her and Evelyn had to team up to survive in the apocalypse, and they had a pretty good room going until Alex got infected, with Evelyn stuck with one hand on Alex at all times, and Alex struggling to maintain good health after being infected. The two had to look elsewhere for help. Alex's design is definitely my favorite, although I did struggle a bit with their outfit. I might be biased, since I'm a big fan of green, but I really like how the colors turned out in her design. That being said, I'm never doing a full color animation with her. Those gradients will be the death of me, just like how Alex's infection will probably be the death of her. Lol, all jokes, or maybe not, who knows. In the lead session, everyone my little PNG tuber down in the corner is based on. You might be wondering, why is she a robot? because it's cool, and because I didn't feel like using basic text-to-speech. Turns out, this was cooler, but much more training. He'll probably post a version with just captions in a bit. Anyways, on to Sasha. She was a government project that was forcibly moved into the testing stage when the entire United States military was killed. The whole thing, all of that, mostly by zombies, also a few were only teens. Anyways, so she was pushed out of her nest like a little baby bird, and she did US military stuff like killing a ton of zombies. Eventually, she stumbled her way into magical girl powers, but she was still lying. ChatGPT levels of sentience. Luckily, she had an encounter with a magical girl with technomancy and was granted sentience. From there, she started a very successful, peaceful settlement before promptly running it into the ground, and she didn't take actual human needs into account. She had multiple assassination attempts staged against her, a few done by her right-hand man and also bestie forever, Derek, a random-ass 15-year-old boy she picked upon her rebels. Derek was killed, but he also knew the assassination attempts would force Sasha to pay more attention to her settlement. Anyways, when Lex and Sasha showed up asking to be let in, they were ejected, since Lex was still actively infected. But Sasha decided to abandon her life of ruling and join the two on adventures. Derek acted along since he and Sasha were besties forever. On to Sasha's sexual design. It is my favorite out of the three, mostly because I've improved so much on her earlier robots since lying. The week ago that I drew her, later he'll be posting a video with my improved robot art. But it's for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, so it probably won't make too much sense. Anyways, she's based on Lavender, so her power is a generally calming effect. She refuses to use it on people because she thinks it's unethical, which is part of why there were so damn many assassination attempts. Her weapon is a dart, which started out large, but it turns out a literal killing machine can take out zombies pretty fast. Who would have thought? She tends to switch between throwing it and shooting it out of her arm, but it automatically returns to her after it touches the floor. Alongside that, she still has plenty of regular guns and weaponry built into her, so she's a force to be reckoned with. Here's some little Derek doodles, and they're for fun. His hobby is cosplaying and also playing stupidly hard games. That man was walking around and covering the crafted for Halloween, and he only took it off so he could make sure nothing broke. And then he got his hands on a shit ton of guns and teamed up with Sasha. For some more bonus art, here's an anime bro that got left in the thumbnailing phase. That was less finished than I remember. Still funny though. The song used is Dogtalk by spellcasting. Funky beats. To wrap up this video, I'll share some fun facts about my wacky little guys. Fun fact overall ago, ages, Evelyn and Alex are both 22, with Evelyn being a college girl who went to tattoo school and started working professionally, and Alex studying for an electrical engineering degree. Sasha is a baby. She's a whole 4 years old, 1 year younger than the Apocalypse. Derek was 15 at the start, but is nearly 18 now. Is almost a legal adult. Yippee. Of course, the laws don't apply anymore since the entire US military was killed. So at Derek's hands, he had a whole lot of guns, and not a lot of law admitting this. Fun fact 2, Sasha has a copy of the entire internet in her mind. The whole thing. She doesn't pay attention to the vast majority of it, but she can tell you the number of jaws a Moradiel has. 2, if you were wondering. Fun fact 3, Evelyn is autistic. There are pros and cons. On one hand, less growth means less overstimulation. On the other hand, more zombie growth means more overstimulation, and even worse sleep sucks all around. Anyways, that's all the fun factoids for now. Feel free to ask any other questions in the comments. I'll definitely answer. See you on the flip side. Peace.